So now our next slide, these are, see, anachronism busters. This is a big thing now, especially like with Book of Mormon Central, Scripture Central. They have these lists of anachronisms. And I was on Mormonism Live a couple of weeks ago talking about that. I think our next slide is one of those lists where they've listed out things like we just talked about, and they kind of color code them in a way that make you think, oh, wow, these are all being busted. They're all being solved, right? But nobody knows exactly what the criteria is. I mean, some of these are weird, right? They're just I don't even know how they would
actually
say.
I redid that list. The original list was mostly green, as in these have all been confirmed.
Right.
This is a complete and utter nonsense. It is. Yeah, it's in. Okay. Let me make one point. If you have a picture of Abraham Lincoln sitting in a wood chair on a porch on a log cabin next to a wooden axe, right? There's 100 things in the picture that are all historically accurate, and he's holding a cell phone.
Yeah.
You only need one thing in the picture to show the picture's inauthentic. Okay? So you can have 500 things in your lists of anachronism and solve 499 of them. But as soon as the cell phone shows up, oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay. So this list that they've produced saying, here's all the things Joseph Smith didn't know. Well, would you quit telling me what Joseph Smith knew or didn't know? You don't know what Joseph Smith knew or didn't know. And by the way, most of these things are just obvious. They're just everybody knows.
I like the one buildings.
Right, buildings, whirlwinds, earthquakes.
We found a building.
Dirt, mountains.
I know dirt is one of my favorites. Well, and like John just said, this list used to be, I mean, some of the versions we've seen completely green. So you can look at it and go, oh, whew, I don't have to worry. All of these have been taken care of. I no longer have to worry. Of course, now John's gone through here and said, I don't know.
Well, so look, they say metal plates, old world. Yes, that's true. There are metal plates in the old world. Doesn't mean a damn thing. Israelite writing on metal plates. Yes, but nothing that the Book of Mormon requires. There is no brass plates. Zero. Never existed. Does not exist. You will never produce it. Cell phone in the picture. Get it out of there. Right?
There you go.
Writing on metal plates in the New World. Well, sure enough, there's a couple gold plates with some Mayan glyphs on it. It has nothing to, again, as you go through these, what they've marked green mostly are red or irrelevant.
Right.
In fact, it drove me so crazy, I produced another table.
This is my favorite thing ever. Favorite thing ever. Next slide, Landon. We are talking about the truth is out there. I made this one for you, John, to support your table. I love this.
I like the colors.
Yeah, it's great. For those of you that are listening, it's a giant Sasquatch in sort of a rainbow forest with leaves and flowers. And it says, the truth is out there.
Okay.
Next.
So I use the same methodology to show that Bigfoot exists. So I just took all the things that, 100 years ago, no one thought about. No one knew. Joseph Smith didn't know any of this. But now we have thousands. And you know what? We actually do have thousands of people who testify of the existence of Bigfoot. And so I just went through all the things that you need to have exist. If you walk out in the forest in the American Northwest, if that's there, then you have a chance of Bigfoot existing, right? Food source, fresh water, broken sticks. By the way, if you're in the forest and you come across a broken stick, that's a good sign that it might be from a passing Bigfoot, because I watched this show, Finding Bigfoot, and broken sticks are a big thing in that show.
Huge thing. He can't walk without breaking sticks anywhere he goes.
Do we know where this forest is that Bigfoot exists in, or is it just any forest that we find with broken sticks?
It can be any forest you want.
Yeah.
All the forests. In fact, technically it doesn't, it could be in the desert. It could be in Detroit. Right? Can you find a broken stick in Detroit?
And for everybody that's listening, it's a graph, much like the evidence is graph. And as we're reading these things off, they've all been marked green. Yes, they exist.
Yes.
They exist. They exist. Yeah.
Caves, grottos, wood structures, tree knocks, strange sounds, strange calls, inexplicable growls, bad smells, missing food, missing items, feeling like you're being watched, clumps of fur.
Wait, this sounds like my last experience at girls' camp. I'm not kidding. When I was 16,
I was going to say that entire list is just a camp out with the young men.
Especially the bad smells, inexplicable growls.
But I mean, you have to look at it. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I've got some in green, most of it in green, some in blue, a couple things, a Bigfoot resurrected being. We haven't verified Jesus Bigfoot yet.
Inexplicable scat. I like that one.
Yeah, Bigfoot toenail clippings.
That's
trending.
Another thing on the young men's camping list.
All these things could be, the evidence.
You're missing DNA. Don't we have DNA from the abominable snowman that we could compare with Bigfoot?
Yeah.
You know what? We actually have a Bigfoot mummy and skeleton. There's a headpiece in Tibet that they say is from a Yeti. You can look it up on Google. It's really interesting.
I've seen that before. Yeah. This is
but
incredible.
It's blue.
Eyewitness
It's trending. It's trending towards the green.
Trending. Yep.
Well,
the point is you can take that methodology and prove anything you want.
Yes.
And therefore it's crap methodology. So don't. I mean, this in the end is going to do more damage than it's going to cure. In the end, people are going to look back at it and say, what the hell were we thinking? Right? It's going to do more damage because it's not adjudicated to truth. This is just coming up with things to try to verify something that you're not going to verify. So anyway, there is more evidence for Bigfoot than there is for the Book of Mormon. And I mean that literally.
Yep.
I mean, we do have eyewitness accounts. We have freaking video evidence and audio evidence.
Yep.
And a 10,000 foot casts, right? We have more evidence for Bigfoot than we do for a single Lamanite or a single Nephite. Just want to make that very clear.
Yep. Just think about that for a minute. And then you think about the numbers. More people are self-reported flat earth believers than there are reported members of the church. There are more than 17 million people in the world that believe the earth is flat. Things like that,
I think there's more than 17 million people in the world that believe in Bigfoot.
That's what I was going to say. And also, reptile government, all these things. If you look at these fringy beliefs, way more than believe reported members of the church. It really puts it in perspective. It's very interesting. And you could make a chart like this about any of those beliefs, flat earth or reptiles, whatever you want.
There is a long tradition in indigenous cultures of a Bigfoot-like creature, of a big hairy creature. It's certainly in the old world. You have big hairy man that goes back centuries that is recorded. So, I mean, there's actually a historical cultural provenance for Bigfoot far more than there is for the Book of Mormon. Again,
I'm a believer. You don't have to convince me. I grew up in Washington State. I saw that movie in the theater. It scared the bejesus out of me, but I'm a believer. I used to think I could see Bigfoot out of my window in my backyard.